It's time for Mike Grimm's Go Gopher Podcast from Talk North. The Go Gopher Podcast is proudly presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Make the most for your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. Cub sponsors the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm. Shop happy, shop Cub. PNC Bank also brings you the Go Gopher Podcast. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring. On X Maps sponsors the show. On X Maps, home to the best maps for outdoor adventures. And by Great Clips, get in, get out, look great with Great Clips. Don't forget to subscribe to follow the Go Gopher Podcast, which is always free to listen to. Now, from the Aquarius Home Services studio, here's 5-time Minnesota Sportscaster of the Year, the voice of the Gophers, and the host of the Go Gopher Podcast, Mike Grimm.
It's episode 234, the Go Gopher Podcast. We are getting to that time of year where, well, some athletic events are already underway. Football season, volleyball season, just around the corner. And we have Deputy Athletic Director Mike Wierzbicki on camera. If you ever wondered what Wiz looked like, you now get a chance to see him. This is our third annual, I like to call it the Gopher Fan Guide.
Third annual. Wow. Yeah. I feel very, lucky to be back here with you, Mike. It's great.
Yeah, it's always good because there's new stuff every year. And it's been a year for some people, and so you have to give them a little refresher as well as to how it all operates between ticket sales, getting into the game, new promos, food opportunities. Usually seem that there's a new food option, and I think we'll find out about that a little later in the week as well. So it's always good, and I'm telling you, it gets big numbers, man. People love you. People love you. They
put a lot of money behind your digital advertising.
Exactly.
It's not me. I know that much.
Anyway, it's pretty cool. Good to see you. How did your summer go? Let's start with that. Do you get some downtime a little bit? Because once the school year starts, you're here pretty much 24/7. You don't get to see your wife or kids.
I don't know who that's good for there, but summer was good. Appreciate you asking. It's fast, right? And I think, it's different. And I remember years ago, people would ask, oh, do you guys work in the summers? Like, yes, we work in the summers, but it's a different pace, right? Like not as much from an event standpoint. So try not to be here all the crazy late night hours. My wife might disagree, but productive, obviously a lot of plans, wrapping up the fiscal year, turning the fiscal year, budgeting, prep for this upcoming year. And then obviously, once we get into post 4th of July, we kind of say, here we go. And, volleyball, football, media days. And now we're into camp and it's here. So summer goes really quick.
Here we are. Is it, do you find that every year you think like, okay, we're ready. And then there's always something that's like, we got to hustle with this thing to get it ready. I mean, that's just human nature. Stuff happens.
Oh,
right?
for sure. And no matter how many years you go through it, like that, the grind in August hits you, and there's a different pep in the step, and just you go with a little bit more pace. And sometimes that's lack of sleep or stress that kind of lead to a little bit of anxiety. But once you kind of get through the first part of September, things will start to level off a little bit. But there's no question. Early August, everyone just kind of gets back on the bike again. You start going through the motions, and you get right back into it.
But I would guess some of the stuff that we'll see that might be new or adjusted or modified with football might have been during last year. You're like, hey, next year we got to remember to do it this way. Or maybe in May, you're like, hey, let's try it this way.
Yeah, and I think, Mike, you've seen it for, obviously the amount of years we've been doing this podcast, as well as probably the last handful of years. We try putting out what we call just, like, here's what to look forward to, right? And a lot of, upgrades or enhancements or slight changes. And for some years, that's talking about traffic and parking and road construction. And other years, it's talking about, enhanced food and beverage options or digital ticketing, whatever it might be. So every year always comes with something. Sometimes those are in our control. Sometimes they're not. But try to find ways to elevate our game day experience, make sure that our fans are having a great time on campus, regardless of what sport they're at.
Well, I don't think we can go anywhere in Minnesota without some road construction right now. For anyone who is in our boat living in Lakeville, getting home, I mean, you might as well take a helicopter, right?
I always say plan accordingly.
Yes.
But Mike, I lead with good news for those that are more.
That was what I was leading. How are we doing here on campus this year?
Yeah, really start with the negative and transition to the positive. Well, I'd say more for those, kind of East Metro, 280, right, has been shut down. Really kudos to our Department of Transportation. And obviously that's opening up, I believe, this week or over the weekend in advance of the State Fair. So 280 will be back opened up. For those that can remember, significant projects on University Ave, significant projects on 4th Street, none of that ongoing. So knock on wood, we're optimistic. There's not a lot of significant projects that are impacting campus directly. Now, there's always going to be things going on 94 and 35 or wherever you might be coming from, but around kind of the general campus footprint should be relatively quiet from a traffic standpoint that we're excited about.
So I'm going to make a comment. This is not to meant to offend any traffic engineers or people who like to bike, but there'll be plenty of lanes to bike in here on campus if you'd like to bike to the game.
We do have room for that, and there's great bike parking.
Forget
at the
cars,
stadium,
how to get a car to a game, but if you want to bike, there's plenty of space.
And we've got plenty of places to lock up your bike or your scooter or your e-bike or whatever it might be. So we always welcome that in addition to having plenty of parking available as well.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like taking a lane of a road away for a car so a bunch of bikes can, go 4 months a year.
I see where your priorities are.
Exactly. Yeah. How do I get there easier? Exactly. No doubt. But it sounds like it'll be pretty good. And really, I say that somewhat tongue in cheek, but it is nice. The surfaces are all beautiful now. Hopefully, it's a nice smooth transition now to what people are going to be getting in and out of camp or on and off of campus.
Now, I always say that still with 50,000 people at an event, you still come early. Stay late. Well, your microphone's moving on me. Come early, stay late. Right. Still want to enjoy. What game day festivities bring, but yes, even though there might not be, detour signs and roads closed when you're on campus, obviously we're still an urban campus and there's still an infrastructure that's different on a football game day. So always welcome getting in early, tailgating, enjoying Gopher Garden and Sky Humane and all the great festivities and lighten the traffic burden to enjoy a game day experience.
Yeah, and that is always a key, whether it's, I always say get to the game early, watch the band. Is Gopher Hour still a thing too?
Gopher Hour still a thing,
I wish I wasn't broadcasting sometimes. I'd like to go down to that West Plaza and take advantage of the discounts.
Yep, for those that haven't, that's what we offer an hour and a half prior when gates open up right inside the West Plaza, Huntington Bank Stadium. Mike says it, come on in, see the band, watch warm-ups, discounted food and beverage. We've been doing that now for a number of years. It goes extremely well. And again, really just there's so many options and ways to enjoy game day. Our goal has always been just create something for everybody. And whether that be you're out in the Maroon Lot tailgating or you're over at Sky Humane or you're out in Gopher Garden and watching our band or you want to come inside and enjoy the uniqueness that is the game day experience and be inside and watch warm-ups, there's something for everybody. So you get a chance to kind of pick what's best for you and your group.
Well, the broadcast could be more entertaining if Daryl and I went down to the West Plaza 90 minutes before.
Well, we'll talk to the powers that be, and
I don't think we're
going to
get that approved.
Maybe post game, you can find you out in the parking lot.
Maybe. I've stopped at a tailgate or two on the way back, particularly after a nice win.
There you go.
Good. Let's get a few of those wins for sure. So let's talk about some of the new things. We've talked about traffic and different things. Open gate. Tell me what open gate is.
Yeah, Mike. So I think one thing that we've heard for a number of years is just efficiency getting in the stadium, and I think it's a science more than it is anything. And so it's not perfect, but we're always trying to find ways to increase the entry process and have to be safe and secure, but also find ways that we can get people inside faster. I do joke a little bit, as much as we want people in an hour before kickoff, we also know that people are enjoying game day festivities and they're going to come in right at kickoff. And that is going to be the biggest bottleneck of time. So Open Gate is a security system very similar to what you'll see at US Bank Stadium or Target Center, or Grand Casino Arena, to really expedite entry, where you can walk through and it's a more elevated metal detector process that you don't need to take out your phone and your keys and you'll fly right through. Now, if you have something metal or a dangerous object, it'll flag you and we'll pull you off for secondary screening. But this elevated screening process is something that gives us a chance to expedite entry processes, remain safe and secure in the major market that we are, but allow you to get in more efficiently, very similar to our pro counterparts in the market.
Yeah, and while still keeping, hopefully, the environment safe and all that stuff, right?
No question. So you'll see that around gates all throughout the season. We'll still have the clear bag policy. For those that aren't familiar, you can see that on our website on what you can bring into the venue and what you can't. Still have our bag check over at the barn for those that do have a bag that they need to check and can't bring in the stadium. But also when you get up to the gates, all major gates, you'll see a much more efficient entry process through this open gate system.
And with that too, maybe you can talk a little of how it works. Like I'm sure someone might walk through and say, geez, they barely check me. But there are so many different ways that you're kind of being checked there a little bit,
Well,
right?
It's a really detailed process. And even for those that were at our open practice last week, we had it set up to just sample some things because there's a lot of fine tuning. And with our UMPD police experts, our event management personnel, our emergency medical services, everyone who kind of has a role in game day security, you can kind of fine tune some things. So even last week, we were doing some testing just to hone in the system, and you can make it a little bit more lenient. You can make it more specific. And so I think that that's something that our staff will continue to fine tune throughout the year to make sure that we're accountable in making sure that we're restricting the items that we don't want in the stadium, but also finding ways that we can be efficient and making sure that, we're not being unnecessarily sent to secondary screening, and we can kind of tweak those sensors as needed.
Yeah, and I suppose too, there's that fine line of how much info are they taking. I know I had a friend. I have not tried this. He went to a Twins game and he took his picture on the app and he just walked through. They identified it. There must be a camera there. He didn't have to scan his ticket. Once he walked through, they identified his face based on his selfie of the MLB ballpark app. And I'm like, that's kind of scary, but it's also pretty cool.
It is, and I mean, no different than TSA and all the other screening processes. I mean, there's a role for it and why we do it. Now, also the amount of data that we have on people in this age of technology. We were just talking about AI and everything else going on. It's fascinating. And so we're not, taking your photos and holding a whole library, but I think there's a lot of efficiencies in how much technology has evolved that you can really lean into, achieve both goals of, a quicker entry, but also ensuring that you're not sacrificing and compromising safety.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So that's kind of cool. And that is not an option for athletic events here that you can take your picture and waltz right through.
It's not currently. No, but if you're Mike Grimm, you've got your credential, we'll make sure to send you off into secondary screening.
They still give me a 2 or 3, because I got backpacks and radio gear and all that stuff. New audio system in the football stadium.
Yeah, for those who've been in the stadium, again, original audio system back in 2009 when we opened the stadium that has had a good run. So huge project this summer. Really kudos to our Gopher Digital production staff and going through a competitive bid process, but everything in the stadium has been swapped out. We do have some enhanced new speakers that we add in different places to have a little bit better coverage throughout. But not only is it your main speakers within the bowl system, but also all of your back of house premiums, press conferences, might be in the indoor club and Club Cambria. You'll notice some additional enhancements from an audio technology perspective. So it's something that, again, with a stadium, you go through wear and tear and maintenance, and we really stretched the life of that audio system as far as we could, that we were starting to run into some failures and opportunities to really improve. And so this has been a huge project this past offseason that will officially debut it on September 3rd.
I mean, we obviously still think of this as a new ballpark, right? A new stadium, but yet the way technology has advanced, I'm sure there are things like to get audio to the speakers, there's better ways to do it now than there was 20 or 15 years ago.
100%. And you really think of any, technology, the minute you put it in, you're almost outdated. And so to think we almost made it 20 years and you've seen us do things with the video boards, you've seen how the audio system, really AV technology is so rapid in its development process. So again, a great opportunity for us to get caught up with a much more comprehensive, consistent system, and also have ways that we can tweak it and elevate it, on an annual basis with the new technology that exists.
How are the speakers in the bathrooms?
As long as speakers in the back, Mike Grimm, as long as it's your voice, they'll be in a good spot.
That's why I've asked, because it's usually once or twice every home game, I'll get a text from a friend or whoever, and they'll say, "Hey, I just went to the bathroom and heard you." I'm like, I didn't need to know that, but I appreciate it. So, but it's always good to know who's listening.
Yeah, we always have it covered, and there'll be times I'm running around the stadium, and I can obviously hear the cheers of our fans at a big play. But if I'm stuck in an elevator or something, and I hear Mike or Daryl, making the call, then I know what to look for when I get off.
A cool thing that I think you guys launched, was it last week, thing called Minnesota Memories. Speaking of Mike and Daryl, I thought you underpriced us a little bit, frankly, but it is what it is. But folks will have a chance to do a whole bunch of cool things, including maybe the chance to pop in and see us do a radio broadcast from our booth.
Well, we appreciate you being supportive of it. But yeah, for us, this Minnesota Memories initiative, and kudos our marketing staff, our ticketing team, development office. How do we find more ways that game day can really be experiential? And I think the name Minnesota Memories is really what game day is all about, is creating those unique memories. And I think people have wonderful traditions, but also now we've got some ancillary opportunities that you can take advantage of, that you want to come down for a chance to watch warm-ups on the field. You want to go pop in and see what it's like in the radio booth and kind of peek over Mike and Daryl's shoulder, or you've got a chance to go stand down in the home tunnel. We've done a lot of different initiatives to reward and steward our season ticket holders, which will continue through the Gopher Loyalty Program. And this will be a chance for the average fan who might only be coming to a game or two a year to elevate their game day experience with a unique, Minnesota memory that they can have with their family or friends. And so all those memories are listed on gophersports.com, all 7 home games. This also will scale out to all of our other Gopher athletic events. And so you can imagine football game day, there's countless activities from pregame through postgame. Some of our other sport offerings are a little bit more consolidated, just given the nature of how those events operate. But we're really excited about it. And frankly, we appreciate it. We've heard about our fans of wanting to find more ways to engage and have unique experiences. This is a great way to do it. Yes, we need to drive new revenue streams as well. So it's a great component on that. But really, it's less about the revenue and more about the experiences, the memories, creating long-lasting fans through unique touch points that you can have on game day.
Are you guys trailblazing a little on this, or have other schools already been doing some of this stuff?
Well, I should say we're trailblazing.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think, Mike, what I would say for our staff, I think we have one of the most robust offerings across the country. I think other places that have launched similar initiatives are really focused on a few basic items. Maybe it's seat upgrades. Maybe it's just video board messaging. We really lean into all those plus more. And so I think that stems back to all the great work that was done with our Gopher loyalty program for our season ticket holders and donors to take advantage of unique experiences. Now we've been able to scale that to a mass general public perspective. So I'd say a little bit of both. Yes, we'll take great ideas from others and put a little Minnesota spin on it. But I'm also really excited and proud of the work our team did to make the offerings as robust and scalable as they are.
And they can find all that stuff at the webpage, Gopher
Exactly.
Sports.
Gophersports.com. You'll see the Minnesota Memories landing page and all the details there.
Goldie's one of my all-time favorite people, but to hang out with him and ride the scooters 10 times more than hanging out with DT and me.
I mean, I don't know if it's 10 times more. It's pretty. I mean, seeing Goldie in the wild is just like seeing
made sure to point
wild.
that out on his 70,000 people following. X
just wait.
account.
I know Guardsy was excited that he wasn't part of this. We'll find some unique, opportunities. Maybe a road game. You can travel with Guardsy or something. We'll come up for him.
We absolutely need to do that, and I bet somebody would want to hang out with Guardsy. Somebody. I mean, it's limited, but
we'll find one.
Somebody might. No doubt. Well, that's cool. Minnesota Memories at gophersports.com. We're going to talk about game themes, a new raffle, and a few other things coming up for football season. But first, let's talk about one of our great sponsors here of the Gophers and the Go Gopher Podcast. In the Twin Cities region, community is the cornerstone, and that's why PNC Bank is committed to supporting everything that makes this area a great place to call home. And to do the steady, reliable, even boring work of making it easy for our neighbors to manage their money. It's PNC Bank, a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher Podcast and brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce and shop happy.
It's episode 234. Mike Wierzbicki, Deputy Athletic Director, University of Minnesota. It is our 2026 version of our fan guide, Gopher Fan Guide, and we've been doing this each year. Good feedback. It's good to have, and a lot of this is going to be on the webpage as well, and kind of direct people there. But to hear deep explanation of some of this stuff is, I think, fruitful and worthwhile as well. So football game themes, there's usually a gold out, a maroon out, a stripe out. What else do we got?
I mean, you're rattling off there, Mike,
Yeah.
and I think it's been fun to develop some consistency there. And I think, I've said it for years now, to see our fans respond with different color outs and our initiatives, high school band, cheer and dance day that embraces the entire state. So we're really excited about it. And I think so if you find, obviously, all those 7 games, whether it's a military appreciation or senior day, when we've got Northwestern here, all of that information is available on gophersports.com. But I think the biggest one to point out, we had traditionally started our home opener as our gold out, obviously with the marquee matchup with Mississippi State coming in week 2. That'll be the gold out this year. So obviously still early in the season, knock on wood, great weather. Got our gold, tablecloth here, Mike. We're ready to go
right now. Yeah.
But it is kind of unique with the season, the way it laid out with those first 3 home games in September. Obviously, then the team heads on the road, and then you get those 2 marquee games, really, in October with Michigan and Iowa. So you'll see the stripe out at Michigan, see the maroon out for Iowa, which is also homecoming week, which is going to be a really busy weekend on campus, men's and women's hockey. And then obviously as you head into November with military appreciation against UCLA and senior day against Northwestern. So, and I'd say kind of those are those umbrella themes. We've got countless initiatives that fall underneath that, from celebrating Ag and Food Day, the 175th anniversary, homecoming, all these different pieces that we'll do to acknowledge the great work going on at the campus, at the university, as well as across the state as a whole.
Yeah, that's all kind of, we've always talked about athletics can be the front door to the school, and some of these themes kind of weave into the general campus theme and can get the whole campus involved. I'm talking not just students, but faculty and professors and the whole group, right?
Yeah, it is, Mike. It's something we talk a lot about, and we say it, and kudos to Mark Cole, athletic director. I mean, athletics is not not the most important part of this campus, but at times we're the most visible. And so how do we use that platform to elevate all the great things going on? And I didn't ask you to say this, but perfect segue. I kind of talked about the 175th anniversary. University of Minnesota will celebrate this year. Our friends in the College of Food, Ag, and Natural Sciences will be unveiling a 175th specialty ice cream to celebrate the anniversary. We'll have that at our game on September 12th when we do our Celebrate Ag and Food Day, where you'll have a chance to buy that ice cream. We'll have it integrated in some different game promotions. So again, just finding ways that we can naturally align what we do in athletics with the great work on campus. That's a perfect representation of that.
Yeah, and the military day that you said, that's UCLA.
Correct.
So if anybody can handle cold weather in early November, it's probably folks who have been, to battle.
Yeah, I think they're pretty brave and courageous, so they know how to handle it. And, we're really looking forward to welcoming our friends from Southern California. And if it happens to be a little chilly and a wintry mix on that day, I don't think we're going to complain.
That's why I brought it up. I want it to be 3 degrees. I mean, God bless all the Gopher fans. We know, we're used to it. I want to see how those boys from California handle 3.
And I think, they've got a great representation of student athletes from all across the country, but there's no question. I go back to even that game against Wisconsin last year, and you're playing in the snow. And, don't get me wrong, we're going to love our 70 degrees and 80 degrees here in the fall in Minnesota. But you kind of get later in the year, there's just a special atmosphere when you start getting those Minnesota elements in there.
Man, I'm telling you, that game last year, it looked like a snow globe for a while. And then when, the touchdown to Gears kind of locked it up, and you spent much of that fourth quarter playing music, and it was like a dance party. That was one of my favorite moments in my time here, quite honestly. One, you get the axe or keep the axe, and two, just the scene, just everyone bundled up and knowing that we can celebrate. It was pretty cool.
That's a good way to end the year. And I think, that was 7-0 at home, right? And kudos to PJ and staff. And we look ahead to this year, but what a home atmosphere, our fans have created. And obviously you're always going to have your different social media polls and exposure, but really kudos to the Gopher fan base. And I think now I'm coming up on my 11th season, been here since 2016. PJ's entering, year 10, which is amazing. And you look at the growth and energy and reputation that our fans have helped create, especially at Huntington Bank Stadium, but also at the rest of our sporting events. We've really developed a great national profile of how our fans show up, support, and show out to create a unique game day advantage. And that's not kudos to us. Now, our staff does a wonderful job, our video team, our marketing staff, obviously the football team and everyone else involved, but really takes our fans owning that, and they've done a remarkable job that we're extremely appreciative of.
Yeah, and you mentioned that fan base and what it's done. In my time here, the expansion of road trips and bowl travel, I mean, how that has grown. And there's more than a couple of attractive road trips for Gopher fans. And I know the one to Seattle, let's be the first time in a long time the Gophers have been out there for football. There's some special plans for that trip for Gopher fans making the trip.
Yeah, people are excited. And you mentioned it, Mike. I mean, and it's interesting, even in a year here where, we go out to Bloomington to play Indiana. Kudos to what they've done. We go out to Happy Valley to play Penn State. People are talking about going to Washington, right? Yeah. And so we're excited. We've seen our fans travel everywhere we go, and that's, as well as, West Lafayette and Madison, that we know will have great turnouts as well. But I think the uniqueness of, where the Big Ten is now, stretching coast to coast, people are excited about Washington. For those that haven't been out there, a really unique, awesome experience in Seattle, right on the water. We're going to have a sailgate experience that we have some of our donors and supporters have a chance to go out and, sailgate on a boat prior to the game. And we'll have a soda social that the Alumni Association puts on Friday afternoon out there. So again, we've seen so much opportunity for fans traveling, as well as the local Minnesota alumni or supporters in the different areas that we've been. Washington will certainly be a highlight this year, and then excited about the rest of the year as well.
Yeah. Sailgating, for those who don't know, the Husky Stadium is an incredible stadium. It's going to be a hard game, right? Yep. The Gophers are going to need all the maroon and gold they can get in that stand. But sailgating, Husky Stadium sits on some sort of a bay of some sort near or on their campus, and there's docks outside, and people can boat to the stadium. Now, I think you got to... I don't think anybody can just boat up there, but you guys have a boat that will take Gopher fans. I did it a couple years ago on a Gopher bye week. Cool. It was a year before they joined the Big Ten. I was at the Michael Penix Washington game against Oregon in October during our bye week. I have relatives who live out there, so I'm like, what else would you do on a bye week than go watch more football? And Oregon missed a field goal that would have sent it to overtime. They rushed the field. We sailgated, $60. We went to some breakfast place, and then like 300 people jump on this ferry, and it's a 50-minute ride, and there's a bar on there. There was a DJ. They had a talk show host. They did a talk show on the Huskies. He wasn't part of the broadcast team, but he must host a show during the week. It was incredible.
Yeah, we've heard nothing but great things out there, and our peers at Washington are thrilled to have us. And I think that's what's, again, really special at the Big Ten. And obviously, you talk about the competition on the field that top to bottom is, the best in the country, arguably, right? And certainly support that. But also these, unique campuses, unique experiences. And I think that's what's really fun, and certainly want to see our team play well and hope we come out with more points in Washington, but also a chance. You go back to the Minnesota Memories Initiative. That's, again, what makes game day so special. And our alumni in football is a chance to connect, create memories, and obviously enjoy the uniqueness that comes with 18 different schools across the country in the Big Ten.
Next one on my topic sheet to ask you, I'm going to take 50% credit on this, the 50-50 raffle, which I think I've been pushing you and others to say, why do we not have a 50? I go to Target Field and, every game, some charity is getting $20,000 of Vikings. I'm like, why aren't we doing that? Well, as I find out, you explain it, that there's certain raffle laws and lottery laws and different things. Well, it sounds like we finally worked it out, and by gosh, we're going to have a 50-50 drawing at these football games now.
We are, and why not, right? Because I think it has become...
Would you say 50% credit to me is about accurate?
I don't know if I'd go that high, Mike. I think you're not the only one who is sharing that with us. So we'll give you some credit.
Okay,
How about 50%?
I'll take 5%.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But we're excited. So you'll see that coming to a variety of athletics events this fall. Again, opportunity, and again, 50% of the proceeds to the winner. The other 50% will go into the Golden Gopher Fund to support all the great work we do for our student athletes. And so, again, we talk about, social experiences, and whether you're, at a local establishment, or you're at a youth event, or a high school game, or obviously now college and pro sporting events, it's a unique way to have some fun. And so you'll see our staff roaming the aisles. You'll see kiosks set up throughout that you can participate in our Split the Raffle and find a way to both, have a chance to win as well as support Gopher Athletics.
Would that be all 7 home games?
We're finalizing some details, so I'm not sure that we're going to have it for game 1, but it's coming here. We'll have it the majority of football. Then you'll see it in the barn. You'll see it over at 3 Marine at Mariucci. You'll see it in Maturi Pavilion for a variety of events throughout the year.
Genius, man. What a great idea that is.
Well, kudos to you, Mike.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You think about it. You mentioned experiences. What if a father, son, mother, daughter, a whole family decided we're going to buy the Mike Grimm, Daryl Thompson package, go watch them, and then we're going to buy $100 worth of raffle tickets. They can walk home with $25,000 or $50,000 or whatever the raffle half might be.
Why not?
What a day that would be.
And then we'll hopefully get them back in time and time again. So no pressure, Mike. Sounds like you just made that commitment to one lucky listener to take advantage of that. So it all starts with the Minnesota Memory with Mike and Daryl, and then he just promised you a chance to win the Split the Pot. So there you go.
Yes, your chance to win. Throw $100 on it and see what happens. We mentioned a little bit of the traffic. Give us just a recap of what we're talking about there. And then parking has been in flux through some construction on campus, whether it's new facilities and lot switching. How is the latest on all of that?
Yeah, so I think like we opened with, traffic is relatively good. Obviously, we'll see some different things just with the amount of people to come into campus, but from a construction perspective, we should be in a pretty good spot. But we're also excited that, you've seen a lot of development going on around Huntington Bank Stadium. New building was built in Lot 33, which is just kind of the northeast side of the stadium. That lot will come back online. Now, so overall, we'll be up total tailgating spots than we have been over previous years. So adding more parking. I think we've kind of, even as I've met with different Big Ten peers and others throughout the country, we've kind of got a sneaky great tailgate scene. And obviously, volume's certainly an important part of that. But you look at the amount of spaces, Maroon Lot, Sky Yuma, Lot 33, et cetera, all around the stadium, really makes for a great game day atmosphere. The biggest change, and for those that have parked with us for a long time, Lot 37, which is kind of over by 3 Marina Mariucci and Ritter Arena and Baseline Tennis Center, is going to have a project going on this fall with solar panels being installed within that lot that, again, are a huge part of our university sustainability efforts to support that energy opportunity. So there will be some things later on in the year. We're going to have some more communication that goes out to our fans, but the positive aspect is it will be relatively unimpacted early in the season. And then as you get later in the year, you'll start to see some more things going on with the installation of those solar panels.
Once those are up, is there an idea of how that might impact 27, 28, those kind of seasons for tailgating in that lot?
Yeah, and with how these are set up, and again, a lot of moving pieces, and so we're excited to see it all come together. The height of them is really doesn't limit us a ton. Now, the impact is some of those people who might have had 50-foot high poles with flags will have some different markers because you'll have solar panels, but you can put a tent underneath there. You can grill just like normal. It will provide you some shade cover as well.
I was wondering about that.
Some elements.
So if it's drizzling or raining, you're protected a little bit.
So I think that'll be something that, we kind of evolve and really encourage those fans in those lots to, it'll be a little bit of a different experience, but there is some positive to it. Not only the impact on the climate from the solar power that's generated, but also the positive of having that awning there. It could be snow, it could be rain, it could be sun. That's going to give you some protection that we didn't have before.
Yeah, awesome. That's pretty cool. All right. So everything else, lots pretty much the same. State Fair, shuttle still running, all those things.
All those things. And again, always the great reminder with the State Fair starting this week and obviously the first game next week, that State Fair lot S108 is not available the day of the home opener. All other 6 games, it's available and park out there and then obviously shuttle over to campus. But other than that, we should be in a very consistent spot to last year.
And if there's somebody out there that decides they want to go to the State Fair and not the football game on that Thursday, campus that's not a place to park for that night.
Correct.
Right?
That's exactly right. It's a great relationship we have with the fair that we support and are able to offer up our parking lots for all other days of the fair, but that Thursday for the home opener, we keep those lots protected for our campus needs and obviously the football game and any other State Fair parking is directed elsewhere.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Let's do one more quick commercial here, and then we'll continue with our Gopher Fan Guide here with Mike Wierzbicki. Hey, it's that time of year, right? We got football starting, volleyball starting, soccer's already going, cross country going. And guess what else? Those folks that like to get out on Saturdays and hunt, that is now starting as well. The mornings are getting cooler. Saturdays are getting louder. Suddenly you're spending a lot of time looking at those trail cameras and those photos and mowing the lawn and all that stuff. Well, hunting season is almost here. So open the onX Hunt app from onX Maps and find some ground, scout the back corner, drop a few pins, start putting together the plan for the opening morning of the hunt. Because the season doesn't start when you load the truck and go out. It starts right now. onX Hunt from onX Maps. We want to thank them for their support of the Go Gopher podcast.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
You a hunter?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I would like to be. I don't quite have the time for it. I'm not the most skilled, but I would enjoy the social aspect of it. I'm not sure about my abilities on actually being successful in hunting.
Same. I'm about the fellowship, as you know, with whatever. So if it was good fellowship, I could do that. But normally the deer opener, there's a football game, and you're going to be busy, and I'm going to be busy on those.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
correct.
No doubt. All right. Well, what else we got? Food and beverage. We teased it a little bit. Coming up this Friday, I think there'll be some unveiling of some. Every year, there's always a few new things. They get really creative. The folks who put that together, great people. What do we got?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Like you mentioned, Mike, we'll have kind of a big unveiling with our media partners later this week on all the different food and beverage options. But I think something that our staff, great partnership with Aramark Sports and Entertainment, who operates all of our food and beverage from your premium and sweet catering all the way down to what you see in our general concessions and exterior to the stadium. So you'll see a lot of new things from there. You'll see some original fried chicken out on the West Plaza. You'll see all the staples back, curds and cakes, and as well as some unique Minnesota flavors. But I think, what we continue to especially express with our concessions program is efficiency, speed of service. You'll also see this year, for the first time, concessionaires in the stands walking through, that it could be a cold beverage or a Powerade or
you mean
Coca-Cola.
like a vendor, like Wally the Beerman going
walking
up
the steps to help you, and that minimize if you just need something real quick that you don't want to run up to concourse. We'll have part of our concessionaires walking the aisles and helping to increase the efficiency from that standpoint.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of things that we've done, some new build outs on the stadium concourses we call them different grab and goes, and come in and grab your unique items, get back to the game. And now you'll see it another step further with staff actually walking the aisles and taking care of you.
Yeah. And, you think about, you weren't here then, but when the stadium opened in 2009, one of the complaints was that it took too long to get food. And there were, literally calculators. There weren't cash registers at the time. And, people are adding up the different things. And now the technology is, it's a scan and put your phone over the deal and off you go to eat your hot dog.
And off you go. And I think that's the piece that, and our Aramark staff is tremendous, that it's good products, good quality, but speed of service is also extremely important to get back to the game. And also we know those busy times, whether it's a quarter break or halftime, are going to get slammed, how to create the most efficient throughput. And so we go through a ton of analysis. You talk about, what do we do in the summer? Well, part of that is debriefing and what worked and what didn't. How do we make adjustments? Some of those are really front and center that you'll see like staff walking aisles and adding that layer of service. But then some of those are back of house things that we're working on with our partners on all the different logistics that it takes to be successful, and making sure that we kind of reduce friction points and make it a great experience for our fans.
Yeah, you really forget. I think people just forget, take it for granted a little bit, how the preparation has to be. I mean, you think about, let's say the Buffalo Wild Wings across the street, they're preparing for a big crowd on Saturdays. You're preparing for 50,000 people, and what? I don't know what the number is. 20% of them are probably buying, 50%. I don't know, something at the concession stand. So how many hot dogs do we make? How many, whatever, nachos? And it's the biggest restaurant in the state for those 7 Saturdays, in essence,
100%.
right?
I mean, it's an expertise that I don't have, and that's why we have great partners doing it. It fascinates me, and how you handle that level of prep and also reduce waste and make sure that you're really strategic with your inventory. Again, it's kind of connected to food and beverage. Our facility staff does a tremendous amount of work in being a zero waste facility, and are on the cusp of some national awards on how we manage recycling and how we manage, sorting our different waste products. So not only is it a huge operation, but also we kind of take a very strategic approach to it to make sure we're doing it in the most sustainable way possible, which I think is something that we're really proud of.
Yeah. And look, if there is some time you go up and, we're out of whatever, you got to understand that sometimes that's part of the idea. You don't want to waste. So, hey, give them a break, right?
Well, we try to, but also we're here. We want that feedback. That's not the goal. And make sure it's a first-class experience. And Mike, you're right. And I understand your point. I also say, especially as you look at football, we've got 7 Saturdays to get it right. And so if you don't have a good experience, we want to make sure you do have one. And so that's where I do encourage our fans, connecting with a manager on site, reaching out to our staff, 1-800-GOPHER, gophersports@umn.edu after the fact. It's our job to make sure that you're having a wonderful experience, because we want you back. And when you only have 7 home games, in the regular season, you want to do it right. And so if you do have a bad experience and that hot chocolate isn't as hot as you wanted, our staff's there to make sure that we can turn that around into a positive experience.
Yeah. In terms of souvenir cups, souvenir offerings, what do we have?
Yeah, well, I've got one of ours from last year sitting out here. But, our souvenir cup program, we continue to evolve and create unique opportunities with it. And this year we'll be kind of beefing up our student athlete NIL program. So you're going to see a football cup that features offensive players, 2 players on one cup. You'll see a defensive cup that features 2 players. You're going to see a different cup over at men's and women's hockey. And you'll see a different cup at men's and women's basketball featuring those players. So it's a unique keepsake that we've seen our fans really enjoy. Obviously, get access to the great drink in venue, but also you take them home, you collect them. And now with the new era of NIL, a great opportunity for us to create some uniqueness to it with spotlighting our student athletes each year as well.
Any of the, I know you guys have in the past, maybe you're giving it the year off. I should have asked, I guess, before I asked, but where you have the coffee Yetis or anything like that?
We do. The Yeti program is back. So again, that's it's part of our game themes. So the first game, we've got our Yeti package with football. We'll have that at other sports as well this year. You get a customized Yeti that's branded unique for Gopher Athletics for that sport. Unlimited Yeti refills at that game. So right now we have that live with football. You'll see it for basketballs and hockey. Piggyback off of that, we've got some really unique collector's items with volleyball. We've got a really cool Up North series that was started with a unique volleyball collector's t-shirt that we've got part as a ticket package. So finding more ways to create, again, more value with your ticket purchase and adding some different promotional items with it.
Generally, ticket sales, season ticket in the football situation, how's it looking right now? As we record, we're a little over a week from getting the ball in the air.
That's crazy. We're around the corner. I mean, really good, Mike. And I think that's kudos to our fans. We've had years where we are so up and down at times with renewals. And I think especially over the last handful of years post-COVID, you've seen strong season ticket retention. You've seen good new season ticket growth. I think what we've also seen from our fans is we've got to give them the products that they want. As much as I would like everyone to be a season ticket holder, that just doesn't fit for some people. So how do we create unique ticket packages, mini plans, Gopher Pass, group sales, all those pieces that we can, again, I'll be blunt, minimize excuses. We've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether you want to sit at the 50-yard line all 7 games, or you want to come out to one game and have flexible seating, whatever it might be, there's something there for you. If I'm going to make my ask, just give us a chance, right? Check out our website, give us a call. We'll talk through options. We're going to provide a great experience, and there's a different, affordable option for everybody.
Yeah, as schedules seem to be busier than ever, right? And youth activities, it used to be, when I was growing up, and that's a long time ago, we played, a baseball game in the summer on a Tuesday and a Thursday and might have practice once. And that was about it. My parents didn't have to worry too much. Now there's practice every night. There's concerts, there's choir, there's dance, there's all this stuff. And so you're right. Sometimes 7 Saturdays is too much to ask for somebody who might be as diehard as they come, but it's like, gosh, just can't do it. So maybe it's the 3-game package. Yep. Maybe it's the Gopher Pass, which we talk about every year, which I think is one of the great deals in all of sports in this market. And if you can't use it, I suppose you can transfer it or do whatever, but it's an affordable option. So just kind of take us through how you guys sift through what the offerings are to try to get as many fans as you can in there each week.
Yeah, Mike, and I think, it's always fair to come back and start with, and I've said it many times, right? Our season ticket holders and our donor base are the lifeblood of our program. And so everything starts with protecting season ticket value and price points and offerings. Now, again, we've got to get creative, and that's where you might look at a price point for an early season non-conference game that's very different than what you might see when Iowa's here for homecoming. But our season ticket holders are going to be protected, that we always want to make sure that's the best value should you invest with us and show us your loyalty there. But then it is about getting creative. So once we kind of get past that pricing conversation, how do we look at opportunities where we're trying to sell single game tickets and mini plans, and obviously sell the most amount of tickets per game that we can, generate the revenue that we need to support the craziness going on in college athletics, which we won't even go down that topic today. But
we have Mark Coyle on next week.
Mark can answer all the questions. He knows it all. But I think that's really the piece. And so again, it all starts with protecting our season ticket holders, providing a great, attractive price point there, but then also finding new ways that we can be unique and creative. You'll see, obviously, with the State Fair starting, we'll be rolling out our State Fair specials as a way to, again, offer different price points to get people in, get people engaged, but also make sure that we are not devaluing our season ticket. We're maximizing those marquee games, protecting our season ticket holder value for those that are investing with us.
Gopher Pass, for those who, it's been how many years now?
Gosh, we might be coming up on maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe even at this point, maybe longer.
So most people probably know what it is, but how many of those are available each year, and how's that going in terms of people buying, and what is it, I guess, if someone doesn't know?
Mike, so I know you've always been a proponent of Gopher Pass. For those that, want to have more flexibility, it's essentially a variable season ticket that, your location will change by game. How many guest tickets you want to have can vary by game. So I might buy my Gopher Pass and I'll bring 3, buddies to the home opener, but I'm going to bring 7 of my friends to the homecoming game. You have an opportunity to add on as many guest tickets as you want, and then you'll sit in a different spot throughout the stadium. For a sold-out game, that might be a standing room only spot. But for other games, you might be sitting in the West Plaza or at the 30-yard line. It's a completely variable opportunity. I think for those that are looking to have a different experience or enjoy different vantage points, Gopher Pass is there for you. Officially, we'll sell between around 800-ish or so of them each year. We have to do some different things on how we sell that with total stadium capacity and fire code. And so there's a unique formula that our ticket office helps us with. But really, again, a lot of flexibility. And to your point, Mike, and no different, frankly, than season tickets. If you can't make it for whatever reason, you can transfer that ticket to a family member or a friend or sell it on a secondary market. And have those opportunities that somebody is using your space.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool too. Like there's no doubt people will get attached to their seat. Like I've been a season ticket holder all the way back to Memorial Stadium, and I had that one seat, and in the Metrodome I had this seat, and you get attached, and that's great, right? That for you, that's great for business because you want that person to be attached to that seat. But for someone who maybe isn't as into I need to sit in section 206, row 14 every week because that's where I sit, and like you say, take different venues, different vantage points of the stadium, and meet new people each week. Man, that Gopher Pass is a heck of a deal.
That's what's perfect. And I think that's what, again, and as we've evolved, it's 2026, that everyone's game day is different. And you kind of mentioned that season ticket holder family. I was talking with a longtime season ticket holder of ours at open practice last week, and he talks about how he can't wait to be there on September 3rd because he hasn't seen his football family in 9 months or whatever it's been. Right. And so you create those unique relationships with that group around you, and they don't talk outside of football season, and they're best friends, during football season. But not everybody's that way, right? And whether you're coming to a game or two, or you want to check out different vantage points, or you want to create that football family, at every different game, that's why we have the Gopher Pass. That's why we have mini plans and single game purchases that really everyone's going to enjoy game day differently. How do we make sure that we're providing different options for people who want to have a different experience?
Yeah, for sure. No question. All right. Well, it's almost back to school time. In fact, some schools are already starting, certainly outside of Minnesota. Minnesota often has, or most schools have the, post-Labor Day start to the first day of school. So we're getting there, back to school season. And it is a lot for a lot of people, right? Supplies, school supplies, shoe shopping, juggling all the schedules, not exactly as magical as we oftentimes make it to be. But if you need those back to school haircuts, how about getting the Great Clips app? It's the magic formula, that is for sure. With just a few taps, you can find a salon nearby, see the wait time, check in, and then when they're ready, and you show up and you get a great haircut. You get a message to tell you when it's your turn, and you know when to pack up the kids and head over to the salon. And the savings, well, that's where the real magic happens. It's great. It's time for back-to-school haircuts, so download the Great Clips app. It may not take care of all your back-to-school to-dos, but definitely it makes it a less stressful time, and a lot of that stress can disappear. Great Clips, it's going to be great, and we thank them for their support.
This is Jim Suhan for TSR Injury Law, 612-TSR-TIME. TSR Injury Law started off as a small business. They are now a large, very successful business because they help people, because they win cases. If you are injured, call 612-TSR-TIME. They will help you out or point you in the right direction. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. We don't want you to need their help. They don't want you to need their help. But if you do need their help, call 612-TSR-TIME.
All right, a few more minutes here. Episode 234, Deputy Athletic Director Mike Wierzbicki with us. The Gopher Sports app is now really the focal point, right, of everything, mobile ticketing. Remember, it was, a lot of nervous ticket holders back when that first implemented. Now, I mean, you barely can go to a game with a real ticket. So I think it takes time. I think most have transitioned to that. It's through the app, but there's so much more to the app. You get news, you get content, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. And it's we rolled out a new app this summer. And so for those, if you've got automatic downloads already in your phone, that app is updated. If you haven't, when you open it up, it'll be prompted to update. And I think a lot of our strategy has really evolved over the last few years. And the app used to be just a secondary, place of our website, which is great. Again, you've got news and content, but so much of the last few years has become more game day, right, related, whether that's ticketing, whether that's concessions, whether that's stadium maps or FAQs. And so you'll see some new enhancements in that app that are both, game day centric, as well as a lot more personalization, what sports you want to follow, what updates you want to get, different game centers of statistics and ongoing events. And so really can, again, customize that experience to you. I think if you've taken anything from this entire podcast, how do you create more customization for people and personalization? So you'll see that within the app, that if you're a fan of all 22 sports, great. You're opting into all those different notifications and updates. But if you only want your volleyball news, then great. You're going to have that set up for you within that the settings as well. So that app, I just encourage people, if you haven't checked it out, open up your app, refresh it if you haven't already downloaded the new version, and then you'll be all ready to go for game day.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, that's one of the great things that has happened in ticketing is the non. I know people get attached to wanting the hard ticket. Do you still do that? Or is
we offer them if anyone does need a physical ticket. Our ticket office will always take care of it.
But I mean, years ago they used to put a picture of a player or whatever on it. People wanted to save them.
But we don't do those.
It would be a generic.
No, you're going to get a generic ticket nowadays.
So they're really not a collector deal anymore from that standpoint. But I think one of the great deals now is. If you have extra tickets or you want to sell them, like you say, in the secondary market or whatever, it's not, hey, meet me at, lot 33, spot 16, and I'll, or I mail them to you, or I'm going to leave them at the hotel you're staying. It's a simple 3 presses of the button and the new guy has them.
Well, I used to remember, Mike, frankly, it was maybe one of my first, I think it was my first year here, 2016, which wasn't that long ago. I remember we were operating a parking will call in the loading dock at the Marina at Mariucci. And again, now you've got it on your phone and you just tap and click and here you go and you've got your parking pass. And so, again, technology has come so far. Now, again, we also understand there's hesitancy out there and download your tickets in advance and make sure you've got good connectivity, all those things that are outside your control on a game day. But really, the reliability increases every year. The usage of it, the efficiencies for all of our fans to transfer or get tickets to other people to make sure that they can get used. And that's why we do see, our scan counts and our redemption rates, tend to trend upwards as well, just because utilization is easier. Yeah. And I've got these tickets in my pocket and I've got to go over the neighbor's house. Like we've obviously evolved past that in 2026.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, and sometimes literally can be a game time decision. You don't know. Maybe you wake up Saturday morning and you've got a sick kid. If that's 15 years ago, those tickets, they just might sit on the countertop, sure. Right? Now it's like, I'm going to stay home with the sick kid, but I'm also going to text my friend, hey, I can, in 5 seconds, get you tickets if you want to go to the game, where we don't got to go meet. You don't have to drive, from Blaine to Burnsville or whatever, right? And you can get it done that way. So there are some, like you say, it allows maybe more people access to games, and it's certainly much more convenient. Lots of other stuff going on as well, including maybe, I think, one could create the argument at times it's the hardest ticket on campus to get. Gopher volleyball, right?
Yeah, we're excited. It's It's crazy, Mike. You talk about the start of athletic seasons, and soccer was home already.
Yeah.
And played on the road as well. Volleyball will be starting at home here in September. It hits you quickly, and even just the energy of welcome week and move in. We'll have all that next week. But yes, we're excited, and what Keegan's got ahead for volleyball. For those that also didn't see it, the Big Ten will be adding a postseason tournament for the first time. You talk about competitiveness top to bottom. You're going to see it in volleyball. That every school in the Big Ten can beat anybody on any given night. So we're excited. There's going to be a great atmosphere in the PAV. Really remarkable what our fans have done in there to create a home advantage, and excited about what the season is ahead.
And for those that have not had a chance, last week, Keegan was in the chair you're sitting in right now for the Go Gopher podcast and gave a nice preview. So if people have missed that and want to find out more about the team, go back to last week's podcast. I teased it a little bit. Next week, we will have Mark Coyle on. His annual your annual visit is the week before the game, and Mark's he usually comes on twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. We'll see now that he's not on the basketball committee if he wants to come on more or less. It was always a good excuse to have him come on after basketball season to talk about that experience. But anyway, he'll be on next week, and we'll probably hit on a few of these things, but certainly a lot of other things. But anyway, a couple of back promo on the volleyball with Keegan last week, and then next week with Mark Coyle. You mentioned soccer has started. They played Georgia to a tough tie and really outplayed them, it sounded like, at home last weekend, and they've got a nice schedule, and the Big Ten is competitive, as you would guess, and Sweet 16 for them a couple years ago, and opportunity here for them.
For sure. And I'll say for those that haven't a chance to come check them out, and Aaron does a tremendous job. Like you mentioned, Mike, Georgia was a top 25 opponent. Again, Big Ten, tremendous soccer programs. Also, it's just a beautiful stadium. For those that haven't been out to Elizabeth Lau Robbie, obviously you're going to see great soccer out there. Get out there early in the year, great weather, a really affordable ticket, unique experiences to entertain and engage with out there. So we're excited for the season. Yeah,
and fall sports as well with cross country, and a little bit of a switch here because of just availability of property to host the annual, which is such a huge event, the Roy Griak Invitational.
Yeah, and that event's really, again, it's a great collegiate event, but it's even larger for high schools, and again, a chance for the community to come together. So for this year, the first time will be over at Fort Snelling is where that race will happen. Really excited about the participants, really excited about the volume of schools that are going to be participating. Coach Bingle, Coach Hopkins, the entire staff have really done a remarkable job figuring out what this next iteration of that event's going to look like. So that'll happen in mid-September over there at Fort Snelling. Gophersports.com has all the opportunities to come out and check that out, both the high school side, collegiate side, and really see some of the best runners in the region.
Yeah. Do you have any insight on how that ended up? Because that seems pretty cool to be running on that property.
A little bit, Mike, and a lot of that. Again, credit to Coach Bingle, Coach Hopkins. They did a great job. It's not easy, right? And you think about where can we find access to property for a cross country meet in the Twin Cities is not easy. And so they did a wonderful job evaluating different options, looking at what's feasible, and we're able to put that together for the fall, and we're excited.
Yeah, no doubt. That'll be fun. And I think people have fun just to go out to that property anyway, and then you watch some cross country. And I mean, we're talking literally thousands of people, runners, spectators, everything else for that event. That's kind of cool. And believe it or not, hockey is always, the longest season. We're not that far from hockey season, Mike.
We joke about it. Everyone says hockey's a winter sport. Well, when you're playing in September and October and you go until March and April, it's a fall sport, it's a winter sport, it's a spring sport. It crosses all of them.
Yeah. And so what how we looking ticket sales that way? And obviously basketball, wrestling, and the others will get rolling as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and maybe just start with hockey. You went there, Mike. Really excited about Coach May coming in on the women's side. Obviously had a lot of tenure here. Coach Larson knows the state extremely well, the trajectory of both of our hockey programs, the successes they've had this offseason leading into the year. Really excited, and we know how much hockey means to this state. So we're excited about what those programs are going to do. Look at a crazy marquee schedule. They've got some tough opponents on both sides that you're going to see, and especially on the men's side with North Dakota coming in here. On the women's side, you'll see those great rivalries with Wisconsin, Ohio State, and others. So it's going to be a busy year. And then, like you mentioned, everything else, here we go.
Yeah.
You've got both basketballs, you've got wrestling, gymnastics, swimming and diving, you name it around the corner. Both basketballs, we should be seeing the Big Ten schedules here relatively soon. All of our details will come together once we have that. But again, look at what Dawn and team did last year with the Sweet 16 run, what Nico has done in this offseason and where they went last year, even with all the health issues they dealt with. Both basketball programs, we're really optimistic about what they're going to have in the year ahead.
How about sales for hockey and basketball, both men's and women's, and where does it stand? And I'm guessing you still have some availability if folks want to buy those season tickets.
We do, Mike. Availability is there, but I'll say all signs really positive. And especially, I'll talk about the bright spots right away. look at Dawn in our women's basketball program and the success they had last year. It's been great to see the fan base respond. And you saw it for those 2 NCAA games. If you were in the barn, it was electric and the atmosphere is just contagious. And so we're really looking forward to piggybacking off of that to a tremendous year ahead. They're on the cusp of record season ticket sales numbers this year. The men are trending upward as well, as are both hockey programs. Gymnastics, again, you look at what they did with their Final Four and the success of that program with Jenny's leadership. We're seeing a lot of things that are really trending the right way. I'm very optimistic about what the year ahead can look like.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But we've got these fall sports to worry about first, and and I know we'll do that. I always ask you. I think one of the great cool things, if particularly Grandpa and Grandma are looking for Christmas holiday gifts for their grandkids, the Goldie's Kids Club still offering it, right? Still
yes, sir.
A great bargain. I mean, it's gone up a little since I first got to town, but what hasn't gone up?
Well,
right?
It has, but I think, man, I appreciate you bringing it up. Sometimes it gets lost, but it's been a program that we've scaled and grown. Kudos to our marketing staff. The promotional items that we build into that package, obviously it's great having access to free tickets and discounted tickets for family members, but how we create some fun things in there that are unique for kids and promotional items that, attach to Goldie, but also can celebrate their fandom and create them in being a future Gopher. We think that program's so important in kind of building the next generation of Gopher students, Gopher fans, whatever it might be. So yes, to your point, for that person who might be looking for the birthday gift or the holiday package, Goldie's Kids Club memberships are available. Families can take advantage of a full opportunity of access, unique experiences, promotional items, discounted tickets, all that information on gophersports.com.
Yeah. They get t-shirts and some stuff too?
They get t-shirts. They've got a cool lanyard. They've got some specialty experiences they get invited to participate with Goldie and student athletes. So it's a really cool program.
Yeah. What is the cost now?
I believe we're at about $25 is about what it is. So again, very reasonable.
That's what it was when I first got to town. So maybe it hasn't gone
just
up.
for you, Mike, trying to keep it pretty flat. There might be some taxes on there, but it's let's call it 30. Yeah.
Goldie's Kids Club, one of my favorites for sure. Well, anything else to add other than hey, gophersports.com is kind of the landing point if people have questions, and then if it's advanced from there, then they can email or use the page to reach out.
That's always a spot, Mike. And I'll say I always appreciate your support, everything you do for us, but also just emphasize to our fan base. We're so lucky. We've got great fans who do an amazing job supporting our programs. Yes, college athletics is going through a lot of shift and change, but the support from our fan base, buying tickets, coming to games, engaging means more now than ever. And so we just appreciate the amazing supporters we have out there and really looking forward to seeing the maroon and gold pack the stands for all of our events this year.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, the competition is the competition. Like some of that noise might frustrate people and fatigue some people. And there's a risk with fan fatigue, I think, with all that's going on, a lawsuit every day from some school and some player and NFL guys now maybe going back to play. But that all said, the competition on Saturday or if it's at Fort Snelling for cross country, that won't change.
No, it won't. And you've heard it many times. And, when you show up and cheer on those Gopher student athletes, they're doing the right things. And that's Mark Coyle's leadership, all of our athletes, whether it's in the classroom, the community, and competition. They're going to represent the state of Minnesota the right way, something you can be proud of. And so, that goes both ways. It's a two-way street. And we couldn't do what we do without the great work of our student athletes and coaches, but without our fans who show up, support us, cheer us on, gives us a chance to do some really special things.
Absolutely. That's probably the best Monday you've had in a long time today doing this.
Well, I've been counting down. Here we go. Now we'll schedule for year 4.
It's been counting down. Last
soon.
Thursday at football practice, I said, how about Monday? And you're like, what's Monday now?
Well, we got a few other things going on too.
You
so
got
I
a little on
get
your
ready
plate
for this one.
Well, this was great. It was awesome. It is really, honestly, it's always great info. We appreciate the work that you guys put into it because it's hard to please everybody, right? And you guys are trying as hard as you can to do that. So appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank
awesome.
you, Mike.
Mike Wierzbicki, Deputy Athletic Director. It's episode 234.
Mike Grimm's Go Gopher Podcast was sponsored by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions, by Cub, by PNC Bank, by OnX Maps, and by Great Clips. Remember, it's always free to listen to Mike Grimm's Go Gopher Podcast. You can follow or subscribe the podcast. Mike will be back next week. Thanks for listening.